In this video, I'm going to talk about the power of music and how it acts as a portal that we all travel through to access and harness different types of energy in our lives. Welcome to the Fresh Serve. It's important for me to start by saying that I love music and art. I love them so much so that in our second lockdown here in Melbourne, I created a 50-day daily series on Instagram called Life's a Gallery, where every day for 50 straight days, I celebrated a different masterpiece. This ranged from moments in films to certain performances of songs to food experiences and even sporting highlights. I truly feel that everything in life can have artistic value, and where do you put art? In a gallery, perhaps, and ipso facto, life's a gallery. At its core, I think that art acts as a portal to different types of energy or feelings that we can use as fuel to grow and build our appreciation and understanding of the world and ourselves in the process. When it comes to music specifically, different genres or different sounds represent different portals that transport you to different places. I drew this highly sophisticated diagram to illustrate this theory. The feeling you get listening to idols is incredibly different to the one you get listening to Dolly Parton, which is again incredibly different to the one you feel listening to someone like Curtis Mayfield.
Just move on up toward your destination, though you may find from time to time complication.
The thing that many of us realize over time as we age and mature is that no single one of these feelings or genres is superior to the others. Each has their own unique value that, when combined, can fill the entire emotional spectrum and allow you to travel wherever it is your heart or your mind may want to take you in a particular moment. We may have artists or genres that we are more naturally drawn to or find it easier to connect with based on our shared culture or upbringing, but those who disregard the value or legitimacy of art outside their immediate comfort zone or cultural experience are missing out on the feelings, stories, and ultimately lessons that can be learned in understanding and connecting with new cultures. So the next time a first date desperate for conversation asks you what type of music you listen to, you should absolutely still say everything, but you should do so with confidence and passion in explaining the different types of energies that inspire you and make you who you are. Maybe you also tell them to watch this video and subscribe to the Fresh Serve. As with most things in life, the most potential for growth comes outside your comfort zone, and this is why there are few better feelings than discovering an entire new genre or art form and realizing that you literally have decades of incredible art to catch up on. In the internet age, this has led to the rise of things like reaction channels on YouTube, where people are now able to make a living consuming new types of art. However, we will discuss that in a bit more detail in a future video. It is of course important to remember that not all art by default is incredible or immune to valid criticism. Take Bo Burnham's Pandering song, for example, from his Netflix stand-up special, Make Happy.
I walk and talk like a field hand, but the boots I'm wearing cost $3,000. I write songs about riding tractors from the comfort of a private jet. I could sing in Mandarin, you'd still know I'm pandering. Hunting deer, chasing trout, a Bud Light with the logo facing out.
It's an incredibly sharp insight and commentary into the danger and consequences that arise when art and capitalism are so heavily fused, the way that they have been with popular country music. That being said, I'd be very surprised if Bo believed there was nothing of artistic value being created in the wider country music genre. He is just perceptive enough to realize when and how art is being hijacked. and somehow also talented enough to create art out of that insight himself. I'm sure, for example, he would respect and admire someone like Sturgill Simpson, who last year released a hybrid Netflix animated film and concept album. And is a great example of someone innovating in an area that Bo's song demonstrates is not necessarily required in terms of finding commercial success. When you read or hear incredible artists talk about their inspirations, you will rarely find that they only mention people from their genre or even from their art form. What occurs instead is them going out and experiencing and absorbing inspiration from a variety of different sources, and then harnessing all of that and channeling it into art that is unique to their perspective or talents or experience. This is exactly how art progresses and evolves. When an artist fails to add their own perspective or energy is when you start to see terms like derivative thrown around, which is to say that someone is trying to profit or participate in a movement without adding anything of their own to it and ultimately not progressing the art form. The idea of accessibility in art is also an interesting thing to consider. In my opinion, the beauty of truly great art is that you don't need to be in the intended target audience or have a shared lived experience with the artist in order to connect, appreciate, and ultimately learn from their art. A great example of this is the song Carolina in My Mind by legendary singer-songwriter James Taylor.
In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Oh, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
He wrote this song while living in London in an attempt to take his homesick mind back to North Carolina, where he grew up. And in creating such a stunningly beautiful song, he managed to take us all with him too. Me personally, I've never set foot in North Carolina, and yet every time I hear the song, I am absolutely swept off my feet and just totally consumed. Of course, the song would mean even more to people from North Carolina who have spent their lives breathing in that air or walking amongst those trees. But I would hope, and I choose to believe, that they would be happy that this song exists and allows me on the other side of the world to feel those same feelings, if only for 5 minutes at a time. Oh, hey, I'm wearing a different t-shirt now. When I filmed this video, I included a second part where I demonstrated the portal theory in action by breaking down a recent piece of art that I love and use as fuel, which is the song Pricks by grime legend JME.
There ain't no clean version of Michelangelo's artwork with a penis hidden. I got no record deal. Never.
Those first bars, the idea of consuming art as it was intended by the artist. When I sat down and started editing, however, the entire video as one would have come in at just over 20 minutes or so, which, let's be honest, for an emerging channel like mine, is probably going to prevent a lot of people from engaging or watching through the entire thing. If somehow you are one of the brave souls who would have watched the entire video in one go, massive kudos from me. You are my favorite person. Give yourself a big virtual pat on the back from me. I'm going to release the second part in a couple of days. Hopefully this video was still valuable in its own right. If you are keen to check that out, make sure you are subscribed here and on Twitter or Instagram to make sure you don't miss it. If you enjoy this type of commentary / entertainment, please don't be shy in telling your mates or sharing the word online. I also have a podcast where I interview people doing interesting things in the worlds of media and entertainment. If you wanted to check that out, there are some clips here on YouTube, and you can find the full episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thanks for watching. Peace.